just go live today and go through A to Z of vegetables that I either have grown or am yet to grow. So it'll be just going through all of that and having a chat about what we're doing. So got a couple of bits to do before I get going, so I'm just going to leave it on the seed screen, but otherwise we're starting off with artichokes. If anyone's got any idea of any like artichoke tips and things like that, or has any knowledge about it, pop it in the chat. Okay, we are back. Alright, so like I was saying at the beginning, we're going through the artichokes, going through A to Z of vegetables, what have grown, what haven't grown, what we might do, what plan on doing over the next few years. So first on the list, obviously, hey, artichoke. We've got these ones that I have not done, but it's something that I don't really have a huge interest in growing, like other than for the idea of actually growing it. So when we got space, that'd be a one to go for. Asparagus, I remember doing that when we were kids. Like my parents had a allotment, and we went down there. Did there was a well, they shared an allotment with one of our neighbours. Hello, Bloxy Cola. How are we doing? Give us a like. Appreciate it. Appreciate the chat. Sinox, Sam. Hello, all of you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. And Max, how's everyone doing today? If you've grown anything, or if you've got anything that you're wanting to grow, give a shout out. I'm just going through this this list and seeing what's what. Good. I'm glad you're doing good. But yeah, I was saying that I had when we were kids, we used to do the go down the allotment with the parents, and then there was a row of asparagus there, but that it takes years to establish. So because we're potentially going to be not here permanently, it's not one that where are you at, brother? I'm in the lakes, Cambridgeshire. So I've got East Anglia out knows their fens. But yeah, no, it's pretty good. It's a lot of rain every even during summer you get rain, so but at least you got a lot of nice scenery up the lakes. A bit flat around here. And then aubergines. So this is one I'm growing this year. Aubergines. I say I'm growing it. I've got about 4, and all of them have had flowers. Hey Ali, how we doing? All of them have had flowers. None of them have had fruit. So that's been a bit of a fail. Yeah, doesn't surprise me. It's pissing down now. Hello, Lewis. How we doing? Beetroot. Beetroot is one I did last year. They only came up really small though, so I don't know if I just put it in, didn't have loose enough soil, or what was my problem there. But one I'm going to be doing again this year, so it's good because it's a root crop. It's a good overwintering crop. So I've got those seeded up and ready to go. Daniel, all right, mate. Nice. Well, if it helps, it's not raining here, just in the shed because it's a bit cold. But yeah, beetroot wise, there's actually a huge variety of beetroot, which I didn't even know about. Got it already going off in the chat. So yeah, beetroot. Sorry, yeah, there's a bunch of them. I've literally only done a couple, but haven't even. I've only got the Detroit beetroot and some other red beetroots, but I kind of want to try some of the golden beetroots at some point. Apparently they're quite nice. Outside Bloxy Cola, appreciate it, appreciate it. Three votes on it already. I love you guys. Broad beans. I've actually got quite a big selection of beans to go through for this next year. So I've literally done a couple, but then in this new year we've got yard-long broad beans going out. We've got French beans, Borlotti, we've got the Calabria, we've got black-eyed beans, black-eyed peas, something like that, one of the two. What else we got? Oh, a broad bean red epicure. But yeah, you've got so many different types of beans, so I like giving them a go. I don't hugely like runner beans, so it's not one I really go for, but the yard long kind of interested me. Broccoli wise, I've actually got some growing at the minute. Literally just recently sprouted, sown back in August, mid-August, and then let's get a few more going on there. Do I have 2 different types of the broccoli? I think I've got a couple of different types of the broccoli in the greenhouse, but they'll be going again over wintering because they're apparently a good one for it. Brussels sprouts. Now, this is potentially divisive, I don't know, but I think most people aren't huge fans of Brussels sprouts. If you are, I'll let me know. Start small. It's just starting pots, like, because that's what I did. Just getting going. Appreciate it, Bloxy. But yeah, just starting small, getting started in containers and things like that is probably one of the better ways to start, because otherwise it gets a bit overwhelming and then you get so much going on that you just don't want to deal with it. But whereas if you start small, start with a few bits and then work your way up, it's easier to deal with at this time of year, depending on where you are, I suppose. But you said you're up north, so if you just starting, I'd probably just start prepping for over winter. Like if you really want to do something in the meantime, you could do some like windowsill lettuce and like salad vegetables and herbs and things like that. Yeah, so that'd be warmer on a windowsill and actually grow. But when it comes around to spring again, if you're getting in the new, like when it comes to February time, start getting seeds planted out on the windowsill, ready to go out in the garden, in some pots and things like that. Or if you've only got a small space, at least then you can have it on a balcony or a front area, rather than having to take up loads of your garden. Because that's something that people, or at least I didn't realise to start with. Like when I first started doing squash and stuff like that, if you don't stake it and tie it back, like, and trim it back, then it just sprawls everywhere and takes up so much space. Like we tried to do pumpkins and that's went crazy. But the cabbages, so again, cabbage is one of those ones that I've just started doing for overwintering, because if you have a look at the channel, we've got shorts on there. One of the most recent is the fermenting jars. So I'm going to try and give some fermentation and things like that a go. Get going with some storage. So I've got a couple of different types of the cabbage in the greenhouse currently sprouting. But yeah, actually, speaking of, if you are still there, oh, it's a bit soggy. Is it going to stand up to it? That is loose leaf, lettuce, loose leaf lettuce, and then spinach. That is just on the side here next to the window. Hello, Bloxy. Appreciate you coming back. But yeah, I was showing the lettuce and the spinach I got on the windowsill next to me. Yeah, they're convenient. Like they're really good for seed starting, and then because they're cardboard ones, I'm just gonna chop them up and put them in the actual pots when it comes to it. But the cauliflowers. So these were two cauliflowers and broccoli was something I tried to do over summer, and it was a terrible show. The moths and cabbages. The cabbage moths and the caterpillars. They loved them. By the time it got to the right size, I went out there to go pick them, and they, infested. So they ended up in the compost heap with the caterpillars munching away. Carrots, this is something I tried for the first time last year. I've now since done a bit of research on it and found out. Hello, by Peckdoy. Appreciate the message. Give us a like and subscribe and help us grow the channel. Just trying to build a little community of people that like gardening, just learning and finding out what works, what doesn't work as we go. But yeah, carrots was one of those where I'm trying it again this year. Apparently you need to cover the seeds, but again, because it's a root crop, apparently it should grow over winter, so giving that a go. Celeriac, no, not doing celeriac. What kind of things does your mum like growing? But celery, again, it's one of those where for the space that I have, celery is not worth growing for me. Like, it's so cheap in the shop and we use so little of it that I would not bother growing it. Nice, yeah, that's cool. The chicory, again, is another one of those where I'm not a huge fan of chicory, don't really use it, so it's not one that we go for. Courgettes, on the other hand, this is one that we've been growing, especially this summer. The golden zucchini, golden squash, that one has been a bomb. Like, we've had loads of those come off of there. And then we've had different types of squashes as well, like the patty pan squash and things like that, and been getting quite a lot of those off there as well. But yeah, flowers, that's cool. Should get out there and see if you can take over a spot in the garden to start growing some veg in the next year, in the new year, when the spring comes around. Just be like, Mum. So just gonna. No worries, appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, with the courgette, you get the all different types, all different versions. It actually reminded me when I was a kid, back when I was in school, a little while ago now. But I used to be a part of an allotment club because I'm cool like that. So it was one of those where we just basically had a little patch at the end of the school field, and they let us grow stuff there, and there was a teacher in charge of it. But that ended up being the first time like growing stuff. I think I was in year one, something like that. And that was we grew marrows and all sorts there, potatoes and stuff. So that was a pretty interesting experience. Cucumbers. This is one that I've been getting a lot this year. Cucumbers. First time actually growing it this year, and the ones that I've had, because it's been a pretty decent summer, the ones that have been growing outside have been pretty decent, pretty successful, and you wouldn't complain. I think we've had probably about best part of 15 odd cucumbers so far, and there's more still on there growing, so I will not complain about those. I'll be a very happy man. Endive, not one I can say that I particularly am excited about growing. Again, it's one of those where I'd rather just grow like loose leaf salad and things like that, because it's more exciting for me. French beans, so climbing beans, dwarf beans, things like that. Again, this year did a bit of an experiment with the red kidney beans. That was pretty good one. Just to see how they would do growing them from ones we bought from the shop, and they actually did grow and produce red kidney beans. The French bean ones, like I say, I've got those ordered. They came in, and we're going to be doing those for this new year. In the new year when the weather gets a bit warmer, because it's the sowing time on those. So I'm planting April, May, June, March. So harvest time up to October. So there we go. That's why we don't. That's why we're not planting them just yet. But garlic, on the other hand, got that out, and that is going to be an overwinter crop as well. So got a bunch of those dotted around in different places where there was a bit of space. Just popped the odd cloves in, especially because we had it in the fridge and it had sprouted. Because when you put garlic in the fridge, it thinks it's overwintering, and then starts to go into a stage where it basically reproduces, like starts to grow. So you get that out and then sow it, and then lovely job. Kale. This is one I tried to grow last year, and the slugs and snails loved it. We didn't get any because they munched every little bit. But that's what happens when you live in the UK. It's a renowned hotspot for slugs and snails. So no matter how many beer traps, eggshells, whatever other tricks and tips you try, they're bloody relentless. They're non-stop. So what are you going to do about it, eh? Then we've got kohlrabi. So you're flying through these. But kohlrabi is one that, again, a root vegetable that just does not appeal to me. Have you ever seen a kohlrabi? Not something that jumps out at me and says, "Oh yeah, eat that." Nah, I'm alright. Limited space. Gonna grow what we need. Grow what we want. Leeks, on the other hand, these bad boys are something that I would grow and have grown and will try and grow again. Again, like planting out time, looking beginning of the year, so we've got a little while to wait yet. But it's the sort of thing where once that time comes around, we'll get those out in the garden, and that'll be something that we enjoy. I have got quite a few onions out at the moment, so I'm hoping those will work out and come through, but that'll be coming later. Lettuce, again, like showed a minute ago. Got the floppy pot, loose leaf lettuce spread on the windowsill. So hoping that all comes together. And then but actual like hearting lettuce I haven't got. The ones times I have tried to do those, normally like slugs again, slugs and snails get into the middle of them, and then you cut through and you've got a slug in there. It's like, that's not ideal. Onions and shallots. So again, like I was saying, I've got a bunch of onions out at the moment in the garden, and they are going to be, oh, just be fair, I need to check them, but they are growing okay at the moment. Sowing time for those seems to be basically any time between March and September, and then you harvest any time between April and December. So it depends on when they go in, when they size up, when they're the size you want them, really. And obviously you get all different varieties, types. The onions that I've actually got in at the moment were from seed, so that's quite an interesting one, because that's the first time we've grown from seed. Normally we grow the sets that have already been made. Parsnips wise, I think I've got a few parsnips growing out the front actually, but I have got quite a lot of parsnip seeds, so be getting those planted out in the new year when the time comes, because they're a March to May type thing. Peas. Now these are an interesting one. So I like growing peas, but again, they're so kind of sweet that when you grow them, you end up eating them out in the garden rather than taking them in the house. So it's a nice little snack, but at the same time, not ideal if you want to be storing it, unless you're growing a lot of them. So that's something I might have to be a bit smarter about next year. Just grow so many that I can't eat them all in the garden. Now peppers and chilies are one of those where we have got so many growing at the moment. If you like growing chilies, if you like growing peppers, that is one that you'll want to check out the channel for, check out the shorts for, because we have got, no word of a lie, probably like 10 different types of chilies just growing around everywhere. In the greenhouse I've got Scotch bonnets, and I've got the Carolina Reapers, because Carolina Reapers hopefully will be at least a step up to help my missus, because she seems to not be able to, when she's eating Scotch bonnets, it is a case of these aren't that spicy, so she needs that extra boost. So we do that, but we've also got banana chilies, we've got jalapenos, we've got green, like just regular chilies, we've got the habaneros, we've got the Thai chilies, and there's a bunch of them, but loads and loads of different types of chilies all growing around. Apache chilies as well we had, so check out for that, see how they're getting on. Potatoes, again, did put a bunch of potatoes out in one of the containers, and that went really well. They were really nice. Cooked those up with some of the courgettes, and, oh, great. But again, potatoes, to get the amount you need, I think that space-wise, you're going to have to grow a lot of them. That's that. Radishes. See, I have got radish seeds that I just haven't grown, because no matter how quick they are, it almost feels like just a waste. Like, if you don't like something, putting the seed in and growing it feels like a waste of the nutrients in the soil, because I could have grown something I did like. So just try and make the smart decisions there. Runner beans. Runner beans are one, again, like I was saying earlier, not one I particularly like, but I think that's probably from childhood experience. But I do have the yard-long beans seeds to grow for this next year. So we'll be doing that when's the March time. So come around the new year, we'll get those sown out, we'll get those planted in, and let them grow wild so that the kids can enjoy seeing how big they grow. Salad leaves. So again, it's one of those where I've got a few different salad leaf mixes. I kind of try and not take up too much of the space in the garden with that until things have died back, especially over somewhere to grow the hottest stuff. So I just appreciate doing that. But there's a whole host of different leaves you can grow. Spinach, again, like I was saying, I've got some spinach seeds growing right here next to me on the windowsill. So I'm just getting that all sorted. And we'll be growing that in the greenhouse, I think, to keep it a bit warmer. Although it does say where it's saying, so that was gosh, when frost starts. So yeah, if I pop it in the green, I'll pop it out in the container for the time being. Then when the chilies are out of the way because the summer's over, and then I can get the spinach and stuff in there and keep that growing nicely. Squashes, again, I was saying about squashes earlier. Appreciate it. Appreciate the hi. Appreciate everyone that's voted, liked, comment. Give us a like and a comment and a subscribe. Just help the channel grow, help the community grow. I've got a bunch of golden zucchini and golden pan squash, sun blush squash seeds to grow this year. I did try and grow some of the Lebanese zucchini. Plant got massive, low. Nah, I'm not a veggie. I just like growing shit. I just like growing stuff. It's just something I like doing, but not veggie. No, I eat plenty of meat as well. I think the amount of meat we eat as a family is probably balance it out, but it's nice to have that balance between some fresh stuff grown in the garden rather than just buying everything. Yeah, this channel's not a case of preaching or promoting, like preaching everything. I believe in a bit of equalness in everything. There's no point stopping yourself eating stuff, because if you stop yourself eating meat, you're inevitably going to end up missing out on things like B12 and iron, and that's how a lot of people become low energy, anemic, and things like that, without even realizing it, just because they think they're doing something more healthier. But it's it's one of those. Everything in moderation. Sweet corn. This is one. If you've seen the shorts, sweet corn this year failed, like all of it. I've got one popping corn stalk that has come through, and I'm looking forward to actually harvesting, because that one will hopefully give us some popcorn. I've got some new sweet corn seed and the popcorn corn seed to go into in the new year, in the next year, sorry, when things get warmer. But in the meantime, just waiting for that one thing to finally finish, because those other ones, dreadful. Tomatoes, we've got a whole bunch of varieties of tomatoes, but at the same time, like the cherry tomatoes are the ones that seem to have popped off the most, and been doing crazy good. But then I've got some of the Roma tomatoes and the San Marinaro, something like that. I've been doing alright as well, to be fair, because I've got those in slightly bigger containers, whereas a couple of the ones I stupidly put into small containers, think, oh, that'd be fine. Yeah, haven't done as well, but we live, we learn, we make mistakes. That's what we learn from. Turnips is the last on the list here, and turnips is not one I've grown yet. I tend to stick to more of the other root vegetables, like the parsnips, the carrots, and things like that, the beetroots, because they're just smaller, easier to use. Just personal. We're just doing it to help, basically, to help give us a bit of a healthier alternative. Make sure we're having a regular supply of vegetables, because I found anyway that if they're growing here and then we have them in the garden, they're right there to then use, and you end up using different things that you might not have thought of using before. So like I was saying about the golden zucchini and the cucumbers, because we've had so many of those, we look at different ways we can use them, different things we can do with them, which is why I've got the fermentation jars and stuff, so that we can start doing some of the preserves and things like that, so that we can store it for longer, so that we've got some more of that stuff, because again, who doesn't want a pickle or whatever? And then things like where I said about we've got so many chilies growing, we can then use that to help support, like help support my wife's chili addiction. She loves spice to the point where, yeah, she loves spice to the point where she will eat chilies like Scotch bonnets or whatever. She'll be cooking and she'll put 4, 5, 6 Scotch bonnets in a meal. And most normal people are like, "What are you doing?" But she loves it, so that's why I've got the Carolina Reapers growing for her. But then we've got a whole bunch of other varieties of chilies growing, so that it gives her a bit of different spice levels, different heat versions, and she can try different stuff as well. But that was the end of the A to Z for the vegetables. If there's anything you haven't heard me mention that you think I should have mentioned, do pop it in the chat. But then you've got herbs as well, to be fair. Basil, bay, chives, coriander, dill, fennel, marjoram, mint, parsley, rosemary, sage, tarragon, and thyme. So the ones out of those that we actually have grown. Yeah, I'm not going to be eating the Carolina Reapers. That's just for her. I am, however, going to be getting into eating a lot more chilies in general. So, like I say, where we've got the banana chilies, one of the probably least spicy ones we have. Starting with things like that, the habanero, get my words out, jalapenos and shit like that. Get that going. Get the habaneros, start building up that tolerance, building up that spice level until I can do the Scotch bonnets. I don't know what's happened to me. I used to be able to eat spice like back in the day when we first met. I used to be able to eat all sorts. Like we went to London and I had Naga chicken wings. She's like, "What are you doing, Naga chili?" It's like, it would be okay. But I remember having to reassure her then that it was going to be all right. Appreciate it. Like I say, we're just having a bit of fun, learning, doing stuff, just trying to build a little channel and document it as we go. So getting the kids and that involved more as we do stuff as well. So when I was building the greenhouse, again, check it out. Got the kids involved a little bit when they came out because they got curious about what I was doing. So I was able to show them and get them involved in that. And we built a no dig bed together. So like we just basically not a big fancy expensive one, just one that we could afford, and we've been growing stuff in that, and it's been going well. So looking forward to that. What else? So in there we've got tomatoes, we've had red kidney beans, the squash, golden zucchinis, the popcorn was meant to be growing there. We literally got one bloody stalk, but what are you gonna do? It was, I think, either too far down, too cold, whatever it was, but one came up, so we're doing the best we can. Been hand pollinating that with the old paintbrush. Yeah, if I get to the point where I've got so much, then maybe we'll see. But I think need a bit more organised. But and again, it's one of those. I think chili wise, that's something where I'm getting to the point where I could do so many that we'd have more than we need, because it doesn't take as much space, and you can cure it, like trim the bushes and stuff to maximise it and everything else. But and then growing vertically, someone else has been doing so with the cucumbers, growing them up really long bamboo canes up the side of the shed and up the wall and things like that, is to maximise the space. Just been trying different techniques, different things, to try and do more, do better. But yeah, so there's that. What else have we got in there? Then all sorts of chilies all over the place. Like I say, even in the no dig bed, on the new one that we built, that one is got that's got onions and stuff in it. That had leeks. It's now got some carrots in there, but that was where I had got the Lebanese squash. But that one, like I say, grew massive, but no actual squash off it. So I ended up just scrapping it because it was taking up too much space. Then as you move around, Oh, I've got hanging baskets with chilies as well. I did make a raspberry cane arch. That's just outside, but the it wasn't a great one for raspberries. The grapevines, that's going to be a good one next year, I think, because they've got to the sort of size where they will bulk up nicely. So when the new year comes around, repot them into bigger pots and stuff. Potentially, if we moved into ground, so I could sort of maximise the growth and get as much off of them as possible. Because my wife loves a fresh grape. So, um, we've got a bunch of strawberry plants as well, so balcony plants and things like that. We've got one of those Juliet balconies that just sort of opens, and you've got the rail thing, so a bunch of plants on there. Again, chilies, strawberries, anything that will go in. Well, yeah, that's it. Like, if I start getting enough of it, I'll start putting out a lot of posts or whatever for people nearby if they need anything. Plus, I know with my wife, she knows a bunch of people would probably want their things like the chilies and stuff like that. So, but we have got a local allotment. Yeah, strawberries. Yeah, that's it. That's the ones me. Strawberries, raspberries. I've got a pear tree as well. That's so the pear tree, and I've got a cherry tree as well. But the pear tree I had for the last few years, and then when I was moving, like my old place, the person I was living with like years ago, his dog basically ate the tree, bit it in half, and it ended up being about that tall. And then luckily, it has managed to sprout out of that and grow up. And this year we had our first near pair, and then that got taken. Um, but the fact that it was able to do one, and then the next year I'm gonna prune it as the leaves drop off in this year. But when that comes back, that should be a productive one. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed we get some decent pears. I did buy a new pear tree as well. Motherfucker, like the actual graft didn't take, like, is dead. So the only bit that actually grew is the rootstock. What a waste of money. What a waste of money. But you live, you learn, you make mistakes. Is it true that bonsai trees bear fruit? Oh, I have no idea. I suppose it depends on the variety. Some of them might, I guess. I've not done bonsai trees because, again, it's one of those where I think that I like the faster growing, bigger growing, like ones that I know I'll get stuff off of. Hmm. Well, we'll have to look into that though, find out about these bonsai trees bearing fruit. I suppose it depends on which ones. I did buy a citrus bush, so again, that's only small at the moment, but the shrinkage amazes me. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get the type. Yeah, some of them are pretty cool though. I've seen one where they basically grow it through a tube, and then take it out. So you've got this weird like root system that grows up through this tube. Like, so it's super long, and then you've got this little bush at the top. That was pretty cool. Um, what else we got in there? Oh, melons. That's what we're going to be doing next year. So I got a cantaloupe melon plant this year, and managed to mess that up. So goal for next year. Got watermelon seeds, and I've got some new cantaloupe melon seeds. So fingers crossed, New Year. That's what's going to be happening next year. We're going to have melons on the menu. And then what else did we have? That was that. I got a fig tree, pruned that back because that was getting unruly, but that has been hammered by moths. So don't know what we're going to do there. Um, I've got a window right here I can literally look out of. Yeah, so then these cucumber plants are dying off because it's getting too cold, so I'm going to have to be changing that at some point, getting that sorted. Appreciate everyone that's liked and subscribed. Anyone that wants to add that in, do keep an eye on what we're doing. We've got loofahs that we're going to be planting in the new year, watermelon, cantaloupe melon, yard-long beans, broad beans, French beans, all sorts of new chilies and everything as well. So it's going to be a good one. But let me just get a little bit of. I'm just going to take a moment to have a quick break. If you've got any thoughts or interests, I'll show you the sort of seed selection I've got, and then any thoughts, just pop it in the chat. Hello, Bloxy. Appreciate it. Appreciate you coming back. I am just sorting a couple of bits out at the moment, and then I'll be heading out into greenhouse shortly. At the moment, I've been really enjoying growing a lot of different types of chilies. The ones that bush out more, like grow up more like a shrub, have been quite exciting. Like I say, the soup pots like the Carolina Reaper and the Scotch bonnets have been doing particularly well. Alright, so in a sec we'll get to the greenhouse. Let's take that and that. go in a second to the greenhouse. that whole time. Not even on sound. But these are the Carolina Reaper plants we got, so I'm just going through and just touching the flowers with the brush so that I can make sure that they're actually pollinating. Yes. Get a bit closer down to it. Let's go through and pollinate these flowers. So we get as many trees as we can. Your green chilies, or if you know someone that is, share it. mention it is. You're right, Bloxy. Appreciate the messages. Favorite plant was the chilies in the greenhouse. You're right. I'm just grabbing a few bits out. Let's see the popping corn. Alright, it's going to be ready soon. The tassels on that, or the silks on that, sorry, is are dying off, so or going brown. So I'll see if I can get the paintbrush out in a second. Just go over that a couple more times just to make sure it's got all the pollen that can get onto it, and then hopefully those cobs are fattening up. We'll get some popcorn off of it. But I was just grabbing those beans that are done, that are ready. up here to the side. Just doing a bit of grinding on that. That's going to be it. heard that. Slow. Nice bloody slims and snails. You're right, Bloxy. Appreciate it. Appreciate the chat. Appreciate everything. Have a look down here. We got these. Tangled. Let's just go that again. That's a bit easier. I've watched him for a long time. I appreciate it. I really do, genuinely. No worries. Appreciate all the time. Appreciate you watching. Appreciate the support. Thank you very much. See you later. Not too shabby. I think probably going to take those chunky old peppers off. Just wonder also. Oh well, I apologise. I was cutting these bad boys off. Appreciate the like, subscribe, and the comments. Thank you very much. But yeah, I'm getting these at the moment. So a few bits. That's not going to sit there like that. That's not even about there either. Yeah, I hope you're doing good today, Fernandez. Let's go on here. Sort that out. Hey, hope you're doing good. Did I feel growing anything cool? Want to share? Cheers. I'm literally leaning across the actual thing. Solid. Let's get that one out. That's flipped off weirdly. Doesn't need to be there. You can come up too. And you, because you're a fun angle. And you, because you're annoying. And you. And that one. And that one. Let's take that bad boy, that bad boy. Might take off the nail. clearing space. So let's be clear from that end, across to here. What's going on now? Oh, it gets so tangled. That's good. Let's go here. I like all these bad boys hiding in here. More. And more. And more. Ooh, spicy little chili. Oh. But then got that. And I'm into the greenhouse. Alec Bloxy, how you doing? These are the Carolina Reapers. We can actually do it without rotating. And these are the Scotch bonnets. And up here, got some of the cabbage, cauliflower, pak choy. And I think those were some more cabbage, yeah. And broccolis. And then more cabbage. And then more chilies. Love it. Who doesn't love some good chilies? I appreciate it. When we first moved in, it was just grass. Just been doing bits and bits and bits over the time. It adds up and adds up and adds up. So if you have a look on the channel, you'll see the greenhouse in production. Probably including the. I can't remember if I've got an addition on there or not, but that did go on later. The water butt to the outside just to collect more water. I like having the sort of amount of space. I'll take you around the back of the greenhouse as well if you want. So, I'm going to close greenhouse. The water butt there. That was going to be the raspberry arch, but that didn't pan out too well. And then just back here, that's the pear tree, compost heap, grapevine that's been just growing, fig. And then over there's the pear tree that died. Bless it. And that was the cherry tree, or is the cherry tree, but it's a bit overgrown at the moment because it's been so busy this winter. Yeah, you got the back of the greenhouse. And I'll rotate here. You got me. Sitting on my little bench. All of this. Yeah. So. spider on my neck. Spider, spider, spider. Don't probably come back into this a little bit as much as I should. Either way, got some garlic growing up, so that's going well. Hello. Welcome back. Okay. Oh yeah, let me just show you the popcorn, how that's getting on. So this is the popping corn. It's thickening up pretty nicely, so I'm going to get some, just a matter of how I do get on. See, still got some silks there that look like they're not, that they're still fresh. I can get that to focus. Then you got the other ones that sort of browned off and died, like these. Those ones should have been pollinated. So what I'm going to do is just quickly grab the paintbrush and see if I can get a bit more onto those. Most of this has just been this summer, because, well, I say this summer, it's been since the start of the year. So a lot of it has started a bit earlier. That's just a few of the bits from today. It's my dog. He's a good boy. Yes. Livingston. Yeah, he's a lazy bugger. He's been sleeping most of the morning. Yes, you have. Who's boy? He's a good boy. Come here. Yeah. Come say hello. You do. Oh. He's probably wondering if I've got a treat for him. Yeah, dogs are cool, but they can be a pain in the backside. Yeah, they're lovely. Yeah, a lot of work. Come here. Go on, you can take it. Go on. I know you want it. Take it. There you go. Good boy. As you can see, he also destroys grass. So that's another thing to contemplate. What size dog do you need? Alright, I appreciate sticking with me through the whole stream, 2.5 hours now. I am going to cut it here. I appreciate for everyone that subscribed and liked and voted and commented. Thank you very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe and